Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. And today we're going to use Viking shaving soaps Valhallah, and we're also going to compare the Merkur 34C and the EdwinJagger DE89. I'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment, but first let's talk about the Viking shaving soap Valhallah. The scent on this is very much like Drakkar, or inspired by the cologne Drakkar. Very nice scent. Scent strength right at the medium level, maybe a smidgen under. I'd call it like 4.5. One thing I want to note about not only this soap, but every soap. When you first get it, take the top off for a moment or two, sort of let it air out. Then give it a whiff. You may find that that scent changes a little bit. Sometimes when these soaps are capped and they're in heat and all that, you get not a really good representation of the scent when you first take the cap off. So take the top cap off, set it aside for a moment or two, then smell it and see how it goes. And it's that way with many soaps, including Viking. The scent sort of changes a little bit if you let it just breathe for a moment. So that's a recommendation for you folks. As you know, this is very affordable. It is $10.75 for 5.5 ounces, around $2 an ounce, a little bit less, I believe. We are going to use the RazoRock 400. I'm going to try not to say rubber set today. This is like the rubber set. It's got a black synthetic knot, which is very nice. I've been told this is a lot like the Game Changer. I don't know how much because I don't have a Game Changer, but let's go ahead and load her up. And today we're going to be comparing the EdwinJagger DE89 and the Merkur 34C. And I'm going to sort of split my face in half, shave with one on one side, one on the other, and we'll see how it comes out. EdwinJagger, of course, as you know, is a 3-piece razor, and the Merkur 34C is a 2-piece. When I'm looking at these razors, the blade gap and blade exposure is very similar on both. It's almost indiscernible, the difference. The weight is similar. The EdwinJagger has a longer handle. The Merkur 34C shorter. They both have a nice weight to them. They're both commonly referred to as beginner's razors, but I want to emphasize again, these are not razors that are just for beginners. These are razors that are good for any shavers of any level of experience. Excellent razors, absolutely nothing wrong with them. They just happen to be the two most common that people start out with because they are mild. They're not the mildest, but they are mild. All right, let's see what kind of load we have here. Looks like we got a nice load. Let's get that. Okay, nice load on the 400. Let's set our Valhallah aside. We'll wet the face and come back and get started. Stay tuned. Actually, before we get started, I want to sort of show you those. If you can see, it's probably hard to see on this camera, but the blade exposure there, very similar, and the blade gap, very similar. Not a lot of difference there. Okay, let me wet the face and we'll really get going. Stay tuned. All right, so here we go with our RazoRock 400, which I used yesterday and I liked it a lot. It does have more backbone, but if you don't feel it's splaying well enough, just give it a little more water and it will splay easier. It does have the feeling of more backbone, there's no question about it, but I find that if you just, like I'm doing now, add a little more water slowly, it'll begin to splay easier. And this is the case with most synthetic brushes. This Viking soap is really excellent value. Less than $2 an ounce. Wonderful scent. I've used two. I've used the vegan formula and the tallow. This one is tallow. And I've been very pleased with both. And I believe, I don't know if he's gotten more in or he had to make more. He sold out of a lot of stuff after the first video. A lot of folks, despite the fact that people like Barry Bazin from Razor and Brush and Waylon have been using Viking soaps for a long time, a lot of people just weren't aware. And now that they are, it seems that what he had flew off the shelves. All right. Very nice thick lather there. This Viking soap, I think is really nice quality. Great value. Let me cut back on this a little bit. We don't want to get too busta-ish. On that note, I'm going to suspend my taunting of Busta. You know, I'm going to take pity on him and stop shelling him, because even I have a heart, folks. I can't continue to shell Busta in a merciless fashion without feeling bad for him. So I'm going to suspend my taunting, but I do reserve the right to start again should he crack on me. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to use the EdwinJagger on the right side of my face. We'll use the Merkur 34C on the left side. We'll go that way for all three passes, and then at the end, or after each pass, we'll sort of feel our face and see how it goes. And so this is EdwinJagger, and that feels very nice. Once again, this Viking soap is quite nice. I have really enjoyed it. It is priced right, folks. Very, very nice. Folks have been asking where to get it. I got mine directly from Viking, so Google it, and you can get it right from Viking. And that feels very nice. The quality of this soap, slickness, all the rest, really, really nice. All right, there was EdwinJagger. Now our Merkur. By the way, brand new feather blades in each of these razors. Okay, very nice there too. Very nice. They definitely have a different feel to them. I think I might get a little more audio feedback on the Merkur 34C. Just slightly. But both really felt great. Let's rinse our face and sort of feel and see how the first pass went. All right, let's give it a feel. It feels quite similar. It's hard to tell a difference. You know, in the first pass, you don't get everything, but it feels very, very similar there. So I can't tell a significant difference on the sides in terms of the closeness after one pass. Maybe after 2 and 3 we'll tell some difference, but not a lot of difference there on pass 1 at least. But I can tell you both feel nice, and both are really wonderful razors. Again, probably the most common, because people tend to pick them up on Amazon and what have you, because a lot of folks, when they come to wet shaving, aren't aware of all these, you know, specialized shaving shops that have all these other razors, so they tend to pick up something at you know, Amazon or somewhere like that, or even Vanderhagen at Walmart, or you know, that Micro Touch that the guy from television sells. Can't remember his name because I don't watch the show, but it was sold at Walmart, I think. But most people tend to start at Amazon for whatever reason, and they start with one of these two razors. And I'm going to tell you, even before I finish this video, either one of them is a really nice choice. It's kind of 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. We will feel at the end of, oh, forgot to cross the grain here. We will feel our face at the end of our shave and see if I can discern any difference in the closeness, but my guess is I won't. However, I could be wrong. I have been wrong before, and we'll certainly be wrong again. So we shall see. And initially I was going to swap sides each pass, but I think using each for all 3 passes and then doing a cleanup if I need to on one side or the other is probably the best bet to really see how each razor is performing. I got to tell you, both of them feel really comfortable. If you like a short-handled razor, you're probably going to prefer the 34C. The weight, I'm not sure how they compare, but they feel similar. It's not dramatic. There is some difference in weight, but it's not dramatic. In grip, this one would probably have the edge over the non-lined or non-knurled EdwinJagger, but keep in mind they do sell that diamond pattern and lined and all the rest, so you can easily remedy that. All right, there is pass 2, which felt great. Let's rinse the face. We'll come back and check and see how it went. Stay tuned. All right, so let's feel our face, and again, You know, on the second pass, and it may just be poor effort on my part, but actually on the cheeks here, right here, I have a patch with the Merkur. I do not with the EdwinJagger. At least in 2 passes, on my cheeks at least, the seems like I had a little better go with the EdwinJagger. But that could be me. I just, yapping and not paying attention, so there's always that. One thing I want to mention while I'm lathering up here, Busta has been doing live videos on Facebook in the Razor and Brush group. Join us if you want to see those. He's been doing them on the evenings, and he's been giving out a lot of great information on brushes. He is a brush aficionado. I am not. I like my synthetics, and I will use Bohr. I told you guys I would start using that because I think it's a great value. But he's a brush aficionado. He really loves brushes. And he's been giving out some really great instructional information, how to break brushes in, and his personal tips and techniques. So if you want to see those, and even when they're not live, you can still see them on Razor and Brush. Join us at Razor and Brush. The URL is right there. And join us. Check Busta out. He has been doing some nice videos, and I have enjoyed the ones I've watched. He does give out a lot of great information. Now, yesterday he had a Simpson, I think 2-band Badger of some sort, and he wouldn't tell me how much it cost. I was like, tell him how much it costs, because they are not inexpensive. If you pay for Simpson, it's not going to be inexpensive. Whether they're better or not, you decide. In my experience, Simpson and Shape Mac and Thader were, all great quality. I didn't necessarily favor one over the other, although I liked Thader for whatever reason, and Shape Mac. Anyway, he has been putting out great stuff. I just wanted to mention that to folks who are missing Busta because he's not back on YouTube just yet. Why he just doesn't do it on YouTube, I'm not sure, but maybe he's practicing because he's rusty. I don't know, but he's doing fine work and fine advocacy and evangelizing for this hobby, which I like. And the feud thing, for those who may not be aware, is flip. It's not real. We're just giving each other a hard time. He does wonderful videos and has given a lot to this community. So support him if you're interested, and if you want to. I certainly do. All right. There's our EdwinJagger side. 3 passes. Let's get our Merkur side, and we'll see how we do. We rinse our face and maybe do some cleanup on the on a rare cleanup pass. But I think they're going to come out similarly. I could be wrong. When I'm yapping, I'm not always paying attention. I'm sort of on autopilot, technique-wise. I could be wrong, but my gut tells me the shade's going to be pretty doggone close on each side. And that, of course, is what you're looking for. Clean, comfortable shade. Let me rinse the face, and we'll come back and compare. Stay tuned. All right, man, before we put on our witch hazel, let's just sort of feel around and see. Okay, no difference in the cheeks, so that was me on technique. It's pretty close, folks. It's close enough to where there's really no need for a touch-up. And I'll continue to feel my face when I'm using the witch hazel to see, but using our Thayer's Magic, because it's made by witches, as you know. Great stuff here. This one is cucumber without alcohol. Neutral scent, does not hang around, and just feels nice. Let's see. A little more inspection. Folks, I'm going to tell you, the shave on these two rascals came out even. On the second pass, I thought there was some difference in the way they were performing, but ultimately, it came out about the same. So I say, my recommendation is, if you like shorter handles, go with the Merkur. Or if you just want a two-piece razor, and I'll show you what that is for those of you who are entirely new, if you are. On the Merkur, you just unscrew the bottom, which stays in. There's a little piece that holds it in, and this comes out, two pieces. Of course, there's a feather blade in there. On the EdwinJagger, it is your traditional three-piece, like so, 3 different pieces with the feather blade, of course. So choose whichever looks better to you. Handle preference, it's a toss-up. Both are great. Both can usually be had under $40 or somewhere around there, sometimes less. Both are going to perform well. But there is one thing I would point out on the Merkur. You do have the tabs that stick out. That bothers some people. See the tabs right here? That sticks out a little bit right there. There you go. On the EdwinJagger, it sticks out just very, you can barely feel it. There is a little bit of difference there. So the Merkur tabs stick out just a little more. This is actually what some people use to hold the razor straight while they tighten the head. So some people like that. Some people don't. Again, make your own choice based on aesthetics, cost. The shave is so similar, I can't really tell much of a difference. So either way you go, you're picking a winner here, folks, in my view. Both are great razors for shavers at any level of experience. And they're not just for beginners. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, let's review the soap really quick. Viking shaving soap, Valhallah. It was, for less than $2 an ounce, fantastic. The scent was great. Face feels great. Absolutely nothing to want, or it leaves me wanting for nothing. It's a great price, $10.75 for that tub. I love it. I think it's really, really a great find and a great value. Thank you again, Waylon. RazoRock 400, which is like that rubber set design. I like this brush a lot. It did well. It does have more backbone. So if you are absolutely opposed to backbone, you like the Plasoft that just splays and has virtually no backbone, you know, this may not be for you. But for most people, I think you're going to be able to manage, unless you're just absolutely opposed to backbone. It did a really nice job. This is a keeper for me. I really like it. And today we were going to use Stirling Noir. That's hard for me to say. This is like Drakkar, which our soap, Valhallah, was like Drakkar. And we're going to use this today. Great, great value in Stirling. Actually, today's shave in its entirety was a really good value shave. You know, our soap was not expensive. Our razors were not expensive. Our brush was not expensive. Soap was not expensive. The blade, yeah, the blade is a little more expensive, but considering that blades are still relatively inexpensive compared to other things, you know, it was still a very good value shave. Let's go for another round. You only live once, people. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your gear. Have fun. That's what it's all about. And join us in Razor and Brush and have fun. And we've had new people that jump right in. A guy was making fun of me yesterday for he caught my, if you saw my Soap Misses Volume 2 video, I chucked the tins. Really, I'm just, it aggravates me with these dented tins. But anyway, I chucked 1 or 2 over my head, and he caught it in mid-flight and captioned it, TSC throws his tins in the bamboo and then wonders why they're dented. So, of course, I did that after they were already dented, but they dented more. Anyway, it's fun. Join us. Sometimes we talk politics and stuff. Don't be put off by that. Just scroll by if you don't like it. But bottom line, this hobby is here for us to enjoy. Please enjoy it. And join me again soon for another video. Until next time, let's make America shave again.